All right, so moving along here, let's stub out our UI. And a quick way to do that, at least in my opinion, there's a few ways to do this, is to use fixtures. So right now we have, what do we got going on here? We have 3 users that we made, and we have confirmed user with activities. And this is just kind of like how I do with my fixtures. I like to be kind of expressive with my fixtures, and I also like to create a fixture for each type of test case. So I could just have like one user fixture and then also, give that user a time zone and activities. But then I've found that can kind of make tests a little more complicated because you're putting a lot of knowledge into just a handful of fixtures. And sometimes it's easier to just break things out into different test cases. So we have this confirmed user with activities. And if we go to activities fixture here, what I actually want to do is dynamically create, like, I don't know, let's do maybe like 60 activities, so like 2 months worth. And we can do that with dynamic fixtures because this is a YAML file, but it can also interpret Ruby. So what we can do is do something like this where let's just do, instead of 1000, let's just do 60. And let's end that. And then we can do this. So confirmed user activity, instead of activity 1, we can just interpolate that with I. That's actually going to be 0, but that's okay. And then the date, let's see if we can do, we'll use I, and then we'll do days.ago. So the first time this loops through, it'll say 0 days ago, then 1 day ago, etc. And this will help us have a little bit more dynamic data. It's not likely that you're not going to use 60 activities in 1 day. You could, but it's not likely. We'll keep this user the same. For the duration, let's do something random. And I think I can do random. Let's do anywhere from, and again, this has to be in seconds. So I know 1800 seconds. So 30 minutes times 60 seconds to 1800. Let's do that. And then, I don't know, it's 2 hours. So it'd be 1800 times 4, so 72. Right? 1800 times 4, 7200. Okay. Duration for unit, let's just do, I think I can just do miles. So we have that, we have duration. I think that's the least amount of information we need. I'm not going to worry about adding like difficulty or any of that stuff. So let's see here. And we can always add upon this later. So the next thing I want to do is actually, let's clear this out. I want to drop my database. So we have some test data in there. I kind of want to just drop everything because we're going to load in our fixtures. So Rails DB drop, Rails DB create. Then we need to run our migrations again. Rails DB migrate. And then finally, well, let's just do that. All right, so we ran that. Now we can do, I'm gonna close this out so it's a little bigger, but now we can seed our database, but we can seed it with the fixtures. And this is just personal preference, but I actually like doing this because that means your development data is the same as your test data. And I kind of think of the seeds file as a way to get stuff up on like production more than development. So like maybe you need some data to exist in production for the app to be useful. Like doing it through the seeds is one way. You can also use something like the data migrate gem to do that. Obviously you can use the seeds file for development, and a lot of people do that. But I just like to, I see this as like default values, like, so what we're doing here is more for testing and not so much default values. So anyways, I'm gonna run Rails DB fixtures load. Okay, and that ran and it didn't actually return anything, but I know that I can now log in as confirmed user with activities, and now I have a bunch of like sample data to go through. So let's go ahead and do foreman start. Let's open up another terminal window. But the thing is, so we're doing this to stub out our UI, and we don't really have anything to show yet, or we have data in a database, but we don't have an easy way of showing it. So what I'm gonna do is start stubbing this out. So in layouts, or not layouts, excuse me, activities, we have an edit, a new, a show. We also want to add an index, and so we have that, and then we want to go to our activities controller. Let's go ahead and add an index here. And for this, we actually want to get the activities, but we want to scope it to the current user. So we want to do current user.activities. I think we can, do we do .all? I think we can just do that. And then real quick, we'll just plop this in here. Do a debug just to see if this is working. Activities.inspect. I'll probably make it a little cleaner. And we also need a place to actually see these things. So if we go to navbar, activities, so we have a link to create activity, but let's also do a link to view my activities. And instead of new activity path, we'll do, I think it's just activities path. Yeah, that should do it. Okay, let's go to our server here. And I know we're gonna have to log in as this user, so go ahead and log in. And the password is just password. Log in. So we're signed in. I need to actually move this duplicate. So if we go to, let's go to view my activity, which should be activities. So this is good. This is loading something. Let's go to the navbar and just fix that. View my activities. And then we have create an activity. So this is good. So let's quickly just stub this out. And I'm just going to use a table layout from Bootstrap. That's actually why I chose Bootstrap, just because I don't feel like it's going to be too helpful for you to watch me do something super custom. Not to say that there's not a lot of value in doing a custom layout, but for this, I think it's just easier to go ahead and get some pre-styled things. So I think these are all responsive, right? Responsive tables. Responsive tables, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so table responsive. So let's just go into the index. All right, responsive table. And then I think we just want, what do we want to show here? So we get the table, we need the T head. Gosh, what do we want to even show here? So schema, activities, what do we have here? We have duration, category, distance, calculated pace. So what should we show in the index, which I have too many files open here. Let me get these. So let's just do, so let's do date, category, duration, distance, and we can make this look nicer later. Like, I'm sure this can be kind of a, this is pretty verbose. Like, we're listing everything in the database, but that's fine. So we have the date, the category, the duration, the distance, the unit. else do we have in here? Difficulty. And pace. So then we can take actually just a table body, and Rails will give us a special there's like a special helper where you can just render, we can render activities. So we can do this. Now this is not going to work because we need to actually go in and do underscore activity dot html.erb, and then in here we can do, let's just quickly, well, you know what, we're so close, let's just finish it. So copy this, and then we'll just do activity.date. Now I'm getting, this might be a little confusing. So this is a Rails convention. Like, this doesn't work everywhere necessarily. So in order for render activities to work, you need to have access to this activities instance variable, and it needs to be a collection. So it needs to be multiple instances of an activity in this case. And then you need to have the singular name of that model, so in this case activity, with an underscore under it. An underscore just means like this is a partial. And then in here you have access to an activity, and notice that it's not activity with the instance variable in front of it, it's just activity. This is just a Rails shorthand syntax. It's pretty much the same as doing, I think, render partial activity, and then you could do like collection activities. It's pretty much the same as doing that. But because this is a pretty common pattern, Rails just gives us that shorthand. So we'll do category, then duration, and we'll use our helper in a second. Distance, unit, difficulty, and instead of pace it'll be calculated pace. And let me just see, so in the show method I know we're using format duration. Let's do, we'll only want to do it if the pace is present. So calculated pace that present, and then distance. If the distance is present. And let's see if this works or not. So activity, oh, Unity, spelled that wrong. Hey, all right, so run miles. It's weird that nothing, the other values aren't showing though. I wonder if they're just not set. So what's going on with our fixture here? So activities, I have duration in here. Now I can see the pace not being in here because we're not actually setting it in here. That's fine, but the duration I would think would have been set. Let's go into, and that's okay. I don't want to spend too much time poking around with this because I'm really just trying to get the layout set up. But I guess we could do, let's just debug this and see if, so debug activity dot inspect. So it has an ID. That's weird. The duration is set to nil. And I wonder... So duration and... That's strange. Duration is integer. Activities. Maybe my is my Ruby just wrong here? Let's see. So if I go, let's do Rails console, run it in sandbox. Maybe this method is just not doing what I think it's doing. I thought it would just return me a random number between 1800 and 7200, and I wonder if that's just not the case. All right, so I'm just gonna copy this in the console. And it seems to work. So let's just kind of do this in the console to see what's going on. So user equals user dot find by email. So we have the user dot activities. So let's create an activity in the console. Activity equals, what did I save that variable as? So u dot activities dot create, and let's just go into here. So date time dot zone dot now, and for duration, let's just do this again, and unit will be miles. So activity, it's valid, but what is so that seemed to have worked, but I don't know why it didn't work within the fixture. And if I do it again, right, so let's just do that. Yeah, so it's doing it there. I wonder if miles needs to, well, what's going on here? Is it miles works, duration? Maybe I'll just set it to 1 hour. Let's just see. And you can see it rolled it back because we were in sandbox mode. So I'm gonna close out the server. Do Rails db fixtures load fixtures with an S. Oh, you know what? I think it's because I'm not running this through Ruby. So it thinks the duration is the string of random. It's taking this very literally. It's not actually running that method, and that's because I forgot to wrap it in embedded Ruby. So I'm sure some of you watching this saw that from the start and were like, dude, that's not gonna work, but I didn't notice it. So let's do, and actually, you know what, while we're at it, let's do calculated pace. And for this, let's do it from anywhere. And it's not gonna actually match up with the duration. This is just for stubbing out the UI. So let's do anywhere from I don't know, 6 minute miles. So 6 times 60, so 360, right? 360 seconds is 6 minutes. And then we'll do 600 for 10 minute miles. Let's clear this out. Rails db fixtures load. Okay, and let's do warm and start. And while that's running, let's do actions. So this will be the ability to edit or delete this particular activity, because right now there's no way to get to it. So let's just do, we'll just do edit, and we'll do link to edit, and then we want to do edit activity path activity, and probably just put that on one line. And let's go to, let's use this fixture here. Password is password, login, and let's see. So now we're getting duration and pace. Okay, so this is cool. It's doing that. And now we can edit it, right? So we can go there, we can edit this. Oh, here's something I didn't realize. So the hours, minutes, and seconds, those actually need to be set. Because right now we have that duration field, but we're not setting it on the edit field, or the edit form. So that's good, I'm glad I caught that. But this is working. We can make this look nicer. Did I forget to put distance in here? Well, I guess that's okay for now. You know what? Let's just do distance. We'll just random, anywhere from 1 to 26 for a marathon. What was the other thing I wanted to do in here? So activity. Oh, you know what it is? Because I'm format duration on the I'm running this on the wrong thing. So I want to do format duration on duration, and then if the duration is present. I don't actually care about formatting the distance. The distance will be whatever it is. And actually, you know what? Let's just put this right there in line. So we have pace, duration. So we can get rid of the unit. Let's give this a refresh. So duration. Now, obviously, like I said, these aren't going to line up, but that's okay. Cool. So that's there. Real quick, let's Ruby API. I want to format the time. So I think we want to do this thing right here. So this is just a Ruby method that formats time and dates and whatnot. I think we have some maybe some pre-formatted ones in here. What is lowercase? What does this one do? Okay, so that's doing it at like that took 24-hour time. I don't want to spend 24-hour time. Maybe we want to do R. So we want to do. Actually, before I get too far on this, let's get rid of this debug because it's getting in the way. Okay, so that's the time. And we also want to do date. Yeah, so I think we want to do, let's just do, yeah, that's fine. Like the date, time, category run. Difficulty isn't there yet, but we got this edit, which is nice. And I think if we, let's just see if this is responsive. So yeah, there's a little overflow action there. So let's leave it at here for now. We know in the next one we gotta dynamically add the hours, minutes, and seconds here based on the actual duration. But I think we're in a good spot now. We at least have a way to view the activities. We can create an activity. We can edit. Oh, you know what, real quick, I guess what we should do is also on that form, it'd be nice if we could add a delete button here. So let's do link to delete, and it should be, I think it's activity path. We pass in the activity, but it needs to be a method of destroy or delete, I think, because we're not, otherwise it would be a get request. It'd be like, okay, I want to see the activity, but we're already doing that. And that, so we want to say, look, the HTTP method here is a delete request. We're trying to delete this activity. And then we can optionally add a data of, I think it's data confirm. And this is a data attribute, like, and then this is sort of like a Rails helper thing where this is just going to make a confirmation message appear. But this is like, so a data attribute is not specific to Rails. A data attribute is something that is specific to HTML. But having a data attribute on a link and having it say confirm with a method of delete is just sort of a kind of a magic Rails thing that will just make an alert box come up and say, it'll say whatever we put in here. So are you sure? And I should say we don't have to do this, but this is just to help ensure that the user really wants to delete it. But we only want to show this if the activity is persisted. And persisted is this comes from Rails. And it's just basically saying, like, does the activity already exist? And the reason that's important is because we shouldn't have this delete button when we're making an activity. And because this form partial is shared between the new view and the edit view, we need to account for that. So if I go in here, refresh the page, we got delete, it should say, are you sure? Oh, but you know what? We don't actually have, I already know this isn't going to work because activities controller does not have a delete. So let's go in here, but it actually needs to be destroy. And we want, before we can do anything, we actually need to find it, destroy, and then we can do activity dot destroy, and then do redirect to activities path, and then say activity deleted. Refresh this page. Go to delete. Are you sure? Activity deleted. Okay, cool. So now we have our full CRUD functionality going on here, but we still got a lot of work to do. We still got to style it. We still got to clean up some things. And most importantly, we also need to set up authorization so that the user that owns this activity, only they should be able to see it and edit it and delete it. So right now, anybody with an account on this website could easily figure out, they could like just put in the ID of someone else's run and they would be able to go in and do whatever they want. But we'll take care of that in some later videos. So let's just do git status. I kind of did a lot here, so I'm going to say, I'm going to commit all these. I'm going to say stub out, or let's do build activities index and activities destroy. And I'll just say like update fixtures add new link to nav. And just like stub out UI. All right, cool. So let's do, it's the final get status, and let's push this up.